Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Fatma Noor and today I will be presenting you about the ethical aspects of research. So, what is mean by ethics? Ethics is basically a code of conduct based on respect for oneself, others, and the society. While talking about the research ethics, it is basically applying these ethical principles into your research procedure. The research ethics provide you a guideline for a respectable code of conduct while maintaining a high ethical standard in your study. So, on the screen, you can see that these are the core principles which you have to consider while following a research. We will go one by one through them. The first one is social value. While doing a research, you should always focus on promoting the good and preventing the bad. The research should contribute or improve the ways of preventing, treating, or caring the people with a given disease, while at the same time justify the exposed participants to the risk and burdens of the research. Moving on to scientific validity. While going to a research, you should always go for an understandable approach to the research question. You should never fabricate, falsify, or misprint data. The invalid research is just a waste of resources and expose people to risk without the purpose. Then comes fair subject selection. It is the first and foremost concern while going for a research study. The basis for recruiting participants should always be the scientific goals and the exclusion and inclusion criteria of the study. It should not be related to the vulnerability, privilege, or any other unrelated factors. Then comes favorable risk benefit ratio. While doing a research, it is obligated on you to ensure the safety of the participants and their rights to the safety and autonomy. Justify the possibility of discomfort, and while the efforts to reduce this discomfort are also essential. Then comes independent assessment. While doing a research, you should always go through your research for any careless mistakes. For that, there should be a group of experts called the Independent Ethics Committee. We should review it to minimize the potential conflicts of interest. Informed consent. For all the peoples who are taking part in the study, it is ensure that their principle of autonomy and principle of privacy is maintained. They should come with a voluntary decision that after having complete knowledge about the risk and benefits of the trial, they are participating for it. They should be treated with respect from the time they are approached for possible participation. You should respect their privacy and their right to withdraw from the study. It's their will so that they can withdraw any time from the study if they are feeling any discomfort. Here comes the term plagiarism. It is presenting someone else's work or efforts with your own name, which is basically a copyright issue. You are using their work and their efforts without giving them credit or any acknowledgement. That's a crime. You should never do that. It can happen accidentally, that is by using similar words while paraphrasing or forgetting to use quotation marks. But there are tools to detect that. You can use Grammarly or many other websites that can avoid that. Then comes the term bias. It is a deviation from the truth in data collection, interpretation, or analysis. A bias can occur at any time of the study. While it can be occur at the time of data collection, at the time of data analysis, or at the time of publication. It is a systematic error that occurs when there's a particular outcome is encouraged over another. So there are different types of bias. The first type is publication bias, in which a study is preferred with significant result on a study with negative results. Then comes observation bias, in which the participants are aware that they are being observed and that's why they subconsciously change their attitude or their answers. Then comes selection bias. In many studies, there is underrepresentation or an overrepresentation of a certain group. Here are some following ethical misconducts that were done in the past research studies. For example, the Nazi human experimentation, in which a camp, the humans were exposed to certain risk according to the scientists who were performing that study, which is not acceptable at all. Then comes their article, which is talking about a disease in children that is compromising ethics. So, moving on to the process of IRB, you must be thinking that what is IRB? It is basically the institutional review board that is set in your institution for the safeguard of the rights of the people recruited in the study, a constituted group that has been formally designed to review and monitor the medical research involving human subjects. There are certain levels of IRB. The first level is exempt review for the studies with very minimal or no risk, in which there is no continuing review required. It acknowledges the researches with identified records or anonymous surveys, and it is not given to deceptive, biased, insensitive researches or researches with unfavorable risk-benefit ratio that ultimately compromise the safety of the participant involved. Next comes the unexpedited review. It involves no more than minimal risk to the participants. The harm or the discomfort anticipated is not greater than the ordinarily encountered in real life. It does not involve any vulnerable populations. Lastly, there is a full review that involves those researches which involve more than minimal risk. It involves vulnerable populations such as children, prisoners, economically disadvantaged, psychologically distressed people. So, talking about the IRB process at Dow University. First, you have to get a research request form while discussing your ideas with your potential mentor. Then after 1 week, you have to obtain a yellow form from the principal office which will be signed by your mentor. You have to prepare and submit your IRB application with the required documents like the IRB form, the consent form, the questionnaire, the synopsis, yellow form, and an email to the IRB. This all takes around 2 to 3 months. Then, after 6 months, if it is approved, you can start your data collection. And while doing the analysis of data and the report writing, which has a separate different format. Then after 6 to 12 months, you will find and submit to an appropriate journal to get it published. So, after your study has been reviewed by the IRB, it can be either approved, full approved, or approved with conditions, or disapproved. Talking about the fully approved studies, you can start the research immediately. If it is approved with conditions, you have to do modifications according to them. And if it is disapproved, you have to submit a new application with a different procedure and all the corrections, or you cannot pursue the topic either. With that, I'm done with explaining you the ethical aspects you have to consider while doing a research. I hope this video was helpful for you. You feel free to reach SoMR's handles for any query you have. Thank you so much.